Hey, somebody needs to exercise. You have? Excellent. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You are listening to The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today and with every show we do is to play the part of a best friend or a coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. This week, The Professional Noticer is sponsored by Books for Veterans. The Veterans Administration in Washington, D.C. has asked for 10,000 Andy Andrews books, and I'm personally donating as many as I can, but to reach 10,000, I really need your help. What we're able to do to make that easier for you, for every $12 donation you make, a hardback book will be sent to the Veterans Administration for veterans, their families, and for the employees of the VA. That $12 covers the cost of the book, the hardback book, the shipping, the handling. And of course, you can purchase one of these awesome Books for Veterans t-shirts, and your purchase of the t-shirt will include a book sent in your name to the VA. So whether you can make this a corporate gift or a personal gift, just go to andyandrews.com/veterans. This can be added to a website purchase done as an individual entry or in conjunction with a Books for Veterans t-shirt. So thank you very much for your support. Observations and answers, that's what we do here on The Professional Noticer. And if you are a frequent guest, you know that we love it when somebody comes to the table with both. And we have that today. This is a very interesting guest. I'll just tell you, because I look at his resume or his body of work, and I got some questions because, this guy has worked as an operations leader, a certified financial advisor, a certified human resources professional, a coach, and now he's wading into my territory. Now he's writing books. So he has an awesome book called One Single Pushup, Lift Up Your Mind, Body, and Soul. Please welcome Bradley Bertoniere.
Thanks for having me, Andy. It's an honor.
Man, I am glad that you're here. Tell me about your book. Tell me about, I love just right off the bat, love the concept.
Yeah. So, I guess to start, my story, and how One Single Pushup came to be, it started when I was 24. I had just graduated from LSU with a communication studies degree.
I'm sorry?
I had graduated from LSU, Louisiana State
I got
University.
that. I was just saying, I'm sorry you graduated from LSU.
Oh. Go Tigers.
Yeah, anyway. Roll Tide. Go ahead.
So I graduated from LSU and I was living in Baton Rouge, and I was renting a townhome in a not so great area of the city. And one night I was sitting on my bed watching television, and bang, 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 gunshots right outside my townhome, and so close that the windows rattled. So my roommate came out. She was freaking out. I was freaking out. We called the cops, and needless to say, it was time to get out of there. So I wound up moving back in with my parents at age 24. And when I moved back in with them, I was pretty downhearted. I had $50,000 worth of student loan and credit card debt. And, while I was home, I was saving and I was paying off a little bit of that debt, which was good. But then something amazing happened. My older brother, Eddie, gave me a copy of The Traveler's Gift by you.
Uh-oh. $50,000 in debt, living with your parents, and then somebody's piling on with a book. Oh my God.
Oh gosh. No, it was truly a miracle. That's the only way I could describe it.
Really?
For me to receive that book at that point in my life, I think the timing of that was some act of divine agency, because it was just it's exactly what I needed. There I was questioning how I got here, how I had to move back home. I considered myself a failure to a certain extent. And my brother gives me a book that's a literal how-to guide on personal success. This is how you do it.
Now,
So
I got to stop you right here and just say, I didn't know this. I mean, this is not why I had you on the show. I didn't know this. So, but keep going.
Yeah, no, you're a personal hero of mine, Andy. So this is why I'm so thrilled to be here, and it's such an honor to be here. But yeah, so I read The Traveler's Gift. I listened to it, the audio version. I read the hardcover, and I started applying those principles. And fast forward 6 years, at this point, I went from 24. I'm now 30 years old. I had moved to California, gotten married. We bought a house, and my son was born,
Wow.
all while turning 30. So a lot of transitions happening all at once, a lot of blessings. And then the next big epiphany, or the big moment, how one single push-up came to be, was, one morning I was reading Jordan Peterson's book, continuing my quest to seek wisdom. And in Jordan Peterson's book, rule number 4 hit me hard one morning. And it was, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. And so, I continued with my morning routine, kind of pondering that concept. And I stopped in the mirror that morning, and I didn't like what I saw. I was looking at it, and I had no muscle definition. I had put on a lot of weight, probably from, having a newborn and, changing jobs and things like that. But I definitely didn't like what I saw in the mirror. And I was actually considered obese by, CDC body mass index standards. And so I took my shower, and in the shower, I had this kind of crystallizing moment. The light bulb went off. I got struck by lightning with inspiration, and all these personal development concepts kind of all came rushing into my brain all at the same time. I thought about the Traveler's Gift and, being a person of action. I thought about Darren Hardy and the compound effect, and how small choices applied consistently can add up to big results over long periods of time. And then, of course, Jordan Peterson's new concept that I had just learned: compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. And so that morning, what I did is I got out the shower, got dressed, and I got on the ground and I did one single push-up. That's it, just one. And I turned over. I also did a crunch. I added it on a little tracker on my app, on my phone. And the next day, I did 2 push-ups. And then the next day, I did 3 push-ups. And now here we are. This November will mark 5 years, and I have exercised every single day since November 21st, 2018, that morning when I had that epiphany and had all those connections.
Now I got to ask you this. Everybody wants me to ask you this. When did you hit the wall? Was it like at 15? Was it at 30? Where did you hit the wall where you go, I can't do another one today?
Yeah, probably around the first 100. And so, when I was doing 100 and I was doing them consecutively, so then I started to break it up. So now I have a whole 30-minute workout that I complete every morning, where it's like 75 push-ups, 100 crunches, 100 bicycle kicks, 75 squats, 75 push-ups. So I break it up, but it equates to about 250 push-ups a day that I'm doing currently. But
wow. And you got a book out of it. How did you get interested in the whole personal development thing?
Honestly, when I read The Traveler's Gift and learned about David Ponder's path, it kind of became my path. I learned all this valuable wisdom, these principles of success. I applied them to my life, and they all worked. And so now here I am, and I'm trying to do what you did. I'm trying to share that wisdom with others, because I think that's what kind of the game of life is all about, right?
Yeah,
becoming
buddy,
the best version of yourself,
awesome.
and helping other people do the same.
Buddy, that is awesome. Well, when you read The Traveler's Gift, did your brother give it to you and say, "Hey, this is personal development"? Or was it just like, "Hey, here's a story"? I mean, how were you presented that book?
He just kind of tossed it to me. It was one of those older brother type situations where he gave me the book and said, "Read this. This is good. You'll learn some stuff from this." And I was like, okay, well, why not? I got more time on my hands. I was at the parents' house. It's not like I was going out and partying every night.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I don't know what influenced my brother to give me that at that time, but all I know is that it was just magical.
Well,
So
tell him thanks for both of us.
So will do.
Yeah.
Will do. I definitely mentioned it in the dedication of One Single Pushup. And I did list several of the personal development authors whose wisdom has touched me in such a profound way that I consider them mentors. Even though this is the first time you and I are meeting, I consider you a mentor. And so this is, like I said, just very grateful.
So I would be on your personal board of directors. So that's awesome.
Yes, sir.
That is awesome. So when you had this epiphany about doing one push-up, at some point you had to tell somebody, and somebody said, man, people need to hear this and you should write a book. When did that moment happen?
For me, writing this book was something that I have kind of had jumbled around in my head for several years now. And I finally, was able to get an opportunity to stare at the blank page and actually get the thoughts out and get it on into paper. As far as a exact moment or, someone telling me to write, my parents definitely influenced me and always told me to write. That was just something that, they thought I would be good at it. And, they definitely inspired me to write the book. And being an author does provide flexibility. Right now, a lot of households have both parents working. Me and my wife were in the same boat. We were both working, the 9-to-5 jobs, and we were getting pretty burnt out, the two youngins. And so, we made the decision for me to pursue my dreams and get a little bit of flexibility and a little bit of more freedom of my time to allow me to better help with the homestead and the kiddos, and then also, pursue my own dreams, which was, writing this book and hopefully writing a lot more books in the future.
That that free time requires you to do something. You know what that is, don't you?
What's that?
Actually sell books.
Oh, yes.
You got to sell these things,
That's true. That's true.
And I find, and this is just, you didn't ask for this, but I find that there are a lot of what people call personal development authors that kind of tell their story, and it's kind of an internal dialogue, and they never really bring to bear how you can use this.
Mm-hmm.
What this can do for you, what I suspect that you're thinking that I have been thinking. And so I would really encourage you, and in fact, I'll dig in here for a second. I would really encourage you to figure out ways to articulate help to people, and to be able to point them toward that book and say, if this helped, we only had a couple of minutes here, and the rest of this is in my book, One Push-Up, and
Mm-hmm.
and so One Single Push-Up. So it's if you can get in your mind that it's about everybody else but you.
Mm-hmm.
That it's about them. It's about helping them. I mean, if people are helped by the book will sell. Word of mouth will make sure of that, because you and I can't get on enough television shows. They don't put authors on anymore, unless you also have a television show,
Right.
or something, or a race car driver, whatever. But people like us don't get on television anymore, really. And so that doesn't matter. There are different ways that we uh, work and go after that and spread the word about our books. But because of that, your books really do have to be good. I mean,
Yeah.
they really do have to help. And if your books help, then that book's going to sell. And so I'm excited. I mean, I have read books, and I don't know about you, Bradley, but I've read books that I was excited about sitting down to read it, but then it was so daggum complicated. I'm like, I don't even know what the guy's trying to tell me to do. I don't, and so I'm excited about the concept of one single push-up. But I just think everybody can relate to that. So how did it feel when you had the book in your hand, when you finally got the thing?
Oh, it felt amazing. My wife captured a picture of me kind of staring at it, with a little teary eyed, So it definitely, it's a lot of work to, I didn't imagine the writing the book part. I understood, right? Yeah. Like you write the words and you think like, okay, that's the big part of it. No, it's not. It's the editing and the rewriting and the editing again and the, copy editor getting you the manuscript back and you going, no, I really needed that part in, or I wanted to change this a little bit, or so yeah, no, and then now, like you said, selling the book, but I'm optimistic that it will help people. And I agree with what you're saying. It's not about me. I do draw a lot of personal experience in the book to try and teach the principles, that I'm
Sure.
trying to share. But the way that the book is structured, it actually starts, it's broken down into 5 sections. And the first section is called Getting Started. And the first 2 chapters aren't about me at all. They're directed to the reader, and they're asking questions like, who are you? Who are you right now? Like, think about it for a second. I actually have worksheets built in to the book for the reader to ponder that question.
And I'm not saying, listen, a minute ago, I didn't mean that you shouldn't put anything about you in there. There should be. You
Yeah.
got to use your stories. You got to use your experience. But I'm just talking about books that I see that don't go anywhere beyond that, and they don't allow the process of mentally applying what I have gone through to what you might be going through now.
Yeah.
And so but you've obviously done that.
I hope so. I hope I made it. I'm a big believer in keep it simple, stupid, KISS, right? And so I've tried to make the principles very simple to understand, and also constantly ask the reader to ponder, what can you do to apply this principle in your life?
Right.
So I think I did an effective job of that.
Man, I think, I just like this concept so much because you can go so many different places. Almost anybody can relate to starting with a single push-up. I can't do 10 push-ups now, but I could do one.
Mhm.
I could do one. I can't play the piano now, but I can take a lesson.
Yeah.
I can take my first lesson.
That's
I
right.
can't speak Spanish now, but I can learn a couple of words right now. Right now, I can learn a word. See? I mean, and so that concept, it plays, Bradley. That just plays everywhere.
Yeah. No,
So,
I think of that quote by Jim Rome a lot. You can't change your destination overnight, but you could change your direction overnight.
right.
And so I
Right.
think that's in play right here. And yeah, no, it doesn't take much. You just have to do something, right?
Yeah. Just do something. Who were some of your favorite people that you listened to and read?
Well, you definitely. I think I've read all of your books at this point. for Christmas one year, my wife actually got me a 2002 copy of The Traveler's Gift autographed by you. So I got your John Hancock back there.
Wow.
That's how big of a deal that book is for me. But no, some of my favorite authors, Darren Hardy, The Compound Effect was just so important for me, especially being in debt, $50,000 like I was, once you learn the compound effect, it's an incredible just wisdom that because it's applicable to all walks of life, but especially for finances. Because, if you have compounding interest working against you, that can get bad quick. But if you have compounding interest working for you, that can get good really quick. I kind of renamed it in my book. I called it the aggregation of marginal gains. And so that's what it's all about. Like it's just those little gains, and so they just aggregate over long periods of time. So definitely Darren Hardy. One of my favorite authors right now is Michael Easter. His book, The Comfort Crisis, was awesome. He describes spending 30 days out into the Arctic on a hunt for caribou, and like talks about all what modern society has kind of taken away from some of our, I don't know, natural tendencies and things, and how we used to be bored a lot and now we're not. As soon as we're bored for a second, what do? We pick up the cell phone, or
right.
The attention's got to be taken somewhere. So he's really good. Definitely recommend his work. And several others. Jonathan Haidt, he's got several books that are just fascinating, talking about happiness and psychology. So I'm big fan of his as well.
Awesome. Well, I was curious, what of the old guys, who do you like?
Oh gosh.
That's considering maybe that I'm not an old guy, but
I don't know. I think
you mentioned Jim Rome. There's Jim, Zig Ziglar, Dennis Waitley.
Well, Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, that one is a classic and very applicable to today. I learned a lot from that one for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, just awesome. There's so much that I wish for you, and that I know is going to happen with you and your great family, and really appreciate you coming on with us, Bradley, and we will have on the show notes how people can reach you. How would you prefer we get the book?
It's available on hardcover, paperback, and ebook, all through Amazon.
Okay, all right, on Amazon. So we will have those links up on the show notes. And buddy, thank you for being with us. And the best of success is hoped for with you and One Single Pushup.
Thank you, Andy. I really appreciate it. It's been an honor.
Thank you, buddy. I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing that tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Gym shorts for the cast and crew provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by UpdatedFables.com. Do you read to your children but find most children's stories hopelessly out of date? Do you wish someone would write something new? Well, somebody has. Log on now to UpdatedFables.com for subscription prices and a full list of modernized stories written by the descendants of the original authors. Remember The Lion and the Mouse? It's been reworked to a much more modern theme called The Professional Wrestler and the Weakling. The Grasshopper and the Ant is now a story called John Deere versus Kubota. You'll love the reworked version of The Boy Who Cried Wolf entitled The Arrest and Conviction of the Kid Who Reported a False Alarm. Our group of staff writers, Bsop, Rudy Kipling, and Hans Christian Henderson, are churning out new hits daily, so join now and never be bored again by a story like The Fox and the Grapes. Check out its replacement, The Pit Bull and the Little Girl's Toes. It's all here at updatedfables.com.